Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my 2023 MK8 Golf R 20th Anniversary Edition. And in this video, I want to compare it to my 2022 MK8 GTI and explain why a GTI might be a better vehicle for you, or some benefits to the GTI over the Golf R. So number one, which is the most obvious one, obviously the GTI is much less expensive. So the S with the DSG transmission is around $33,000. If you get an SE, if you want a few more features, it would be around $38,000. Now the Autobahn, it starts getting around 40 or a little bit over 40. And in my personal opinion, nothing against anyone who has an Autobahn, it starts losing its value a little bit once it starts getting that high. So on my GTI, I would get about 30 mpg plus every tank. And I'd do mixed driving. I'd do some fast driving, some city driving, some cruising driving, and I'd get about 30 mpg every single tank. With this car, I get about 24 to 26 depending on how I drive and depending on how many launches and stuff I do. So this MPG is much worse than the GTI. So if gas mileage is a concern to you, MPG is definitely much better on the GTI for sure. For the rest of the points, I want to hop in and go for a drive. Let's do a quick little walk around. I parked in this little dirt area because I thought it would look kind of cool. But yeah, this is my pure white MK8 Golf R. By the way guys, I had a 2022 GTI and the matte black around this area is much better than the gloss black. Not only for scratches and stuff like that, but the sun sometimes will shine on this gloss black and it'll shine in your eyes. So this was kind of a mistake on Volkswagen's part, but it's okay. The car's so nice that I can deal with the little imperfections. I'm gonna go ahead and put the mode in custom. I like to drive around a custom mode. I have the suspension to comfort, I have the steering on sport, and then I have the exhaust in pure mode, which pure mode, if you guys don't know, is strictly valves open and no pumped in engine noise. So it's nice that they give you that that option. But let's go to our third point here, and that is the front wheel drive. So some of you guys might look at this as a disadvantage, and I kind of did, which is why I wanted to upgrade to the R. But there's some people that actually like front wheel drive better, and let me explain to you why. So with front wheel drive, you have less drivetrain loss, right? Because with the all-wheel drive system, you're pushing four wheels, you have a drive shaft and everything, and there's much more drivetrain loss with an all-wheel drive car than there is with front-wheel drive. If an all-wheel drive car is rated at 300 horsepower and a front-wheel drive car is rated at 300 horsepower, the front-wheel drive one will most likely put more power to the wheels because the less drivetrain loss. So that is one benefit. Also, if you're a fan of roll racing and you don't care about traction, I care about traction, so that's why I wanted the Golf R. But if you don't care about traction and you like roll racing, front wheel drive will do better on a roll race than all wheel drive because, again, less drivetrain loss, less weight. And some people actually believe that front wheel drive is more fun. It's more fun to drive a front wheel drive car because, you know, you get a little bit of, you know, the spinning, a little bit of torque steer. Although I will say the GTI is really good at not having torque steer. The GTI truly is an amazing front wheel drive car for sure. But again, some people might think it's more fun to have, you know, front wheel drive where it kind of, you know, has a little bit of character rather than just being consistent every time like an all-wheel drive car. For my fourth point, I want to mention better availability. So the GTI, MK8 GTI, you can find new at dealerships a lot easier than you can Golf Rs. Now there are some places that have like manual transmission Golf Rs and stuff like that, but if you're comparing DSG to DSG, it's a lot more common to find a GTI than it is a Golf R, and you're much more likely to get a better deal on a GTI than you are a Golf R. So again, if you guys need a car soon or you just want the Golf platform, whatever, you can probably go to your local dealership and find a MK8 GTI on their lot somewhere. For my next point, I want to mention the fog lights. So MK8 GTIs have this really cool like X style fog light, and I think it's a really cool looking car at night. If you guys don't know, I am a big fan of like headlights and lighting in general, and I always had, like at night, I always had my fog lights on in my GTI because they look so cool. In the Golf R, you do not get fog lights. The only thing you do get is this button here, which is the poor weather light, and that's the cornering light, which you still get on a GTI if you get the upgraded headlights. And for 2023, they all have the upgraded headlights. But with Golf Rs, one thing that's kind of nice is that you can turn on those cornering lights while you're driving. It helps light up the side of the road a lot better than just using the headlights only. And that's not a feature available on a GTI because that button is replaced by the fog lights. So there is kind of a plus or minus there, but I'm a big fan of fog lights, so I wish the Golf R did have fog lights available. Another benefit to the GTI is the availability of cloth seats. So some people swear by cloth seats. They, you know, like especially out here in Vegas where I live, a lot of people prefer cloth over leather strictly because of the heat. And obviously if the sun is shining on a cloth seat, it's going to get a lot less hot than it would if it was shining on a leather seat. So you get cloth seats available on the GTI if you get the S or SE trim. And then also they have that cool plaid design, because that's a design that harkens back to the older GTIs, and it's a really cool look. So if you want plaid seats, you cannot get them in a Golf R, you have to get it in a GTI. Another benefit to the GTI, and I know this because like I said, I own both of them. My GTI was a S base model with the 18-inch wheels, and the turning radius on my GTI was a lot better than it is on this Golf R. I think the reason why is because the Golf R has wider 19-inch wheels, whereas the GTI had narrower 18-inch wheels. And if you look at a calculator online, the total diameter of these wheels and tires are slightly larger than that of the GTIs. Turning radius is not as good on the Golf R, and it is noticeable. It still has a good turning radius. Obviously it's a small vehicle, but it's not nearly as good as the GTI. The GTI can make some really sharp turns, and in this one you can just make some mildly sharp turns, if that makes sense. Another benefit to the GTI is that it has the same exact engine as the Golf R minus the upgraded turbo that you get on the Golf R. So Mark 8 GTIs, I believe, have a Garrett turbo. Mark 8 Golf Rs have a Continental turbo. And with the Mark 8 GTI, you still have plenty of power potential if you plan on tuning or modifying your car. So if you're all about power and just cheap power, whatever, the GTI is your best bet because it's going to be less expensive to make the GTI as fast in a roll as a Golf R. Now keep in mind, I don't recommend spending a whole bunch of money in a GTI if your ultimate goal is a Golf R. I would recommend you save that money that you would have spent in modifications to just get a Golf R from the get-go. That would be my recommendation. However, obviously if you modify your car, it's more unique than just a stock regular car. Like for example, my car right now is 100% stock aside from the window tint. So my car is literally no modifications at all. However, I do want to do some stuff in the future, but definitely stay tuned. And then last but not least, it's pretty obvious, I kind of mentioned everything. The GTI just overall is just going to be cheaper to own. Not only is the purchase price less, it gets better gas mileage. At least the base model GTI, the tires are a lot less expensive. The little 225 all seasons, a lot less expensive than the 235 summer tires on this one. Insurance is going to be less expensive. My insurance went up like $20 a month when I got the Golf R. Now, in my opinion, that's 100% worth it. I mean, only $20 a month extra to have the Golf R insured, but it does go up, and that's an added cost that you're gonna have to think about if you decide to get a Golf R over a GTI. Well, all of those things combined lead the GTI to be an amazing option. You're not doing yourself a disservice by getting a GTI over a Golf R because you're saving a lot of money, maintenance, not having the all-wheel drive. You're saving yourself money in making cheap power and everything like that. So I think the GTI is an amazing option. And if you guys have a Mark 8 GTI, I want you guys to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your reasoning for picking the GTI over a Golf R. I'm always interested to hear you guys' opinion and what you guys think. If you guys are curious to hear about my reasoning for trading my GTI for this Golf R, I'll link a little card up in the corner of the screen so you guys can check out that video as well. But if you enjoyed this one, please give it a like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Golf R videos in the future, and I will see you in the next video.